I don't think accents are a problem. I think articulation is a problem. In the Indian culture, a group of my Indian students came to me and I blew their minds with like a magic trick. They say, we can't say the word whale. When they say it, it's veil. It's a very big veil, right? And they go, we can't, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, all I want you to do is this. Do this, do way. And they go, way. And I go, do al. And they said, way al. But we've never been able to make that sound. It's because the Indian language never required them to do those movements. So again, we confuse the accent to be the problem, but it's actually poor articulation. And if you struggle with this, you see a speech pathologist that specializes in language, in English, and you send them a video of you talking for 10 to 20 minutes and say, which mouth movements am I making incorrectly for which words? And they'll correct you and they'll make a video back for you showing you the exact movements you need to learn.
Yeah. You know, right now I'm having a leisurely walk down here, but soon there'll be another bloody mountain. So it's like I need to learn what the tools are, you know, to make my climb up a mountain, up the next mountain easier each time. Like, you know, and it's.
A number of parliamentary colleagues who have disabilities do find it quite difficult getting around certain parts of the state. Given that we're doing this refurbishment work, what can be done to make sure that those with a disability are able to move around more freely and the place is accessible?
You know, what I reckon is that if they had themselves proper jobs, they wouldn't be up to all this, you know, larking every night.
What?
What I'm saying is that, like, if they had themselves proper jobs, you know, for a gantel, then they wouldn't date. You know, a lot of them from broken homes.
Sorry, that was just a noise.
Sam, me, you know, Paul, I'm fucking buzzing. 3-1 win against Arsenal, only team to win the first 3 games. She's right. Come, mate. Fucking belted that, you know, Paul. That was Scouse as fuck, that performance. He's right.
Right, did he say it?
Said edge his edge, huh? He only topped him down because he couldn't see the view no more. What's he under?
The Honourable Gentleman, what work is being done to make sure that this place is more accessible, particularly for some of our colleagues who have a disability?
Here, here.
I'm sorry, it must be something to do with my antipathy and background. Could you please repeat the question, because I didn't follow it?
Well, very popular today. I'm saying that a number of parliamentary colleagues who have disabilities do find it quite difficult getting around certain parts of the state. Given that we're doing this refurbishment work, what can be done to make sure that those with a disability are able to move around more freely and the place is accessible?
I'm really sorry. Please, could you do it very slowly in intimidating English? Thank you.
What language we use about China? Are you a competitor? Are you an ally? Are you a threat? How would you regard your relationship with Britain?
First of all, between China and Britain, from the Chinese perspective, Britain is not a rival, is not a competitor, it is not an enemy, is not an adversary. Britain is just an important country to get along with in peace and in friendship and for mutual benefit. Now, how Britain looks at China, it's up to the British government and people to decide. But I think it would be completely misguided for Britain to view China as an enemy or adversary or a competitor. What do China and Britain compete with? China is the largest manufacturer of automobiles. Competing with Britain? No. China is the largest exporter of EV cars and will lead the whole world in EV production. Is Britain a competitor? No. China will be the biggest and most important producer and R&D in terms of semiconductor in no time. Does that mean that China competes with Britain? No. China will be the leading nation in AI revolution. Is Britain a competitor? No. So I think British government should not overestimate its impact on the global scene and view Britain as a rival of China. China is not. China is a fact. China is a megatrend for Britain to live with and get along with. Let's make peace rather than agitating for war.
Ooh. First of all, there is something deeply satisfying about watching an intelligent person calmly dismantle arrogance from the West. Secondly, whether you like it or not, nothing Victor Gao said is false. The UK today is not the same power it was 100 years ago. Back then, Britain controlled trade routes, colonies, and a massive industrial production. Today, a lot of that influence still comes from structures built during the colonial era. And that's not just the UK. UK. You could say the same about several former colonial powers, even the United States to some extent. For decades, large parts of Western wealth were connected to global systems that extracted resources and labor from other regions, especially in Africa. So when someone from a rising power like China openly challenges this narrative, it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But honestly, I find it very satisfying to watch.
I don't think the Chinese go around the world evangelizing or proselytizing and say, you follow my system. They are unlike the Americans. They don't want to export their system. If you want to pick up any points from me, I'm happy to help you and show you. But I'm not here to change you or to make you like me, which I think is a great advantage because then many third world countries feel comfortable with them.
They don't want to be an honorary member of the West, unlike Russia. They're quite happy to be Chinese and to remain as such. So when you tell them you ought to do this, you ought to do that, they say, yes, thank you. And in the back of their minds, we have lasted 5,000 years, have you? That Beijing Olympics, if you watch it, what was the message?
We're back.
No, 5,000 years. And don't forget, we invented all these things. And we're going to go ahead in the next 5,000 years. It's the only country where a language has survived 5,000 years. The only country where the present generation shares the same basic thinking as the past. And they're very proud of it. Whatever we can do in 20, 30 years, you can do better. For every one high-quality scientist, he will produce 3, 4, 5,000. What do we do? In 50 to 100 years, 50, 60, 70 years, you will be like Japan or America, and we will be learning from you because you will discover new things. You have already sent a man into space. 神舟5号. Nobody gave you any secrets. You worked it out from first principles. So you can do these things. So what do we do? I think we accept that in 50, 60, 70 years, we are learning from you. But does it mean we die? No. We have a role in Singapore. We have a role in Southeast Asia, which will be useful economically to you and of benefit to us. You want to go abroad, you want to reach out to Southeast Asia, we are the natural starting point. They will not allow their society to become too disparate, the distance between the successful and the less successful. This is one of their greatest ambitions or objectives.
Is not to allow there to be too great a distance between the most successful and the least successful.
That's right. And that's
because it rips at the social fabric?
Because it goes against their philosophy of life. It's a Confucianist philosophy that the wealthy and the powerful owe a duty to the downtrodden.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I do.
Because of a Confucian philosophy, or?
Yeah. So you don't find beggars, you don't find half-starving people sleeping in doorways or under the bridges or whatever. I mean, it offends the whole society. So we pay a little bit more, rehabilitate them, put them in proper homes, feed them, teach them a job. We just can't leave them as derelicts in society. It's offensive.